Earlier this week, Lucas was supposed to send you all an email about the budget, inviting people to prayerfully consider their giving for this year. Between the hub move and everything else, it just kept getting pushed back. And so finally, the day comes where Lucas is like, okay, I'm going to hold myself up somewhere and work on this email. And I'm just going to block out 30 minutes of my calendar. I'm going to work on this. It's going to happen. He goes to Starbucks, and he's there, and he's like got his space. He's sitting next to the window. And as he's sitting in the window, he's telling me the story. There's a guy on the other side of the glass who is with a bike. He's sitting, I guess he just went to Starbucks. He's sitting outside, enjoying himself. And out of nowhere, some guy walks up, clocks him, takes his bike, and runs off, like goes off on his bike. And so the guy, of course, he's like, what the? So he has this bag of things. It's glass. There's glass in the bag. And so he, like, throws it at the guy as he's trying to, like, get away on his bike and, like, chases after him. I think the bag hits the guy in the back, but hits the ground, shatters. There's glass everywhere. The guy, because it's Florida, is wearing sandals. And so he's running through the glass, sandal pops, and he's like running through broken shards of glass trying to get his bike back. This guy decides, this is 4:45 on Fowler. So Fowler, is like Frogger, right? Like you don't try anything unless you have a death wish. But this guy is feeling really bold. He's like, I already stole a bike. What can I do? I'm on top of the world. So he decides, I'm going to cross Fowler at 4:45, 5 o'clock traffic, as this guy is chasing him down. And so he makes it, he somehow, by the grace of God, does not get hit by a car, but ends up getting away on the bike. The guy who just had his bike stolen is feeling dejected, naturally, and is just walking back to Starbucks, walking back to where all this takes place. And Lucas goes out and is just like, bro, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, I saw that. What's going on? And the guy's just broke. He's like, that's his only method of transportation. Now he can't go to work. He's got to call out of work. He can't do what he was planning on doing. And he's just visibly distraught. And so Lucas, searching for solutions, just thinks, well, I know some folks with some bikes. And so how about you come with me? And we go to the mall, and we'll go to Well Built. And, and so he takes him to Well Built, and he's showing him around. And he's like, yeah, just, pick out something. Like, what bikes do you like? What are you kind of looking for? And, like, Lucas kind of hatches a plan in his mind that he's going to get this guy a bike. Like, he's going to come around this guy, and he's going to get him a new bike. And so he's with this guy. They're in Well Built. And, of course, the employees are there. Chris Scotto's there. Chris is seeing what Lucas is doing. And it's like, oh, I see what he's doing here. I'm going to come around you, actually. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw in a lock. I'm going to throw in 6 months of bike repair. Like, he's trying to, like, come alongside this whole, plan. And so the guy is just blown away by this. Like, who are you people? Like, what is happening here? And so, whatever, he gets the bike. But, his feet are pretty messed up, obviously, because he just ran through shards of broken glass with pretty much bare feet. And so he's like, bro, this is getting really bad. You need a hospital. Well, I know some folks who have a clinic not too far from here. And so let's go to the clinic. But it's 5 o'clock, so the Rachels have left. Nobody's actually in the clinic. Lucas is on the phone with the Rachels, asking them, where do you find bandages in this place? And so he's, like, trying to do all this. He's, like, patching up this guy. And he's like, what is this? Like, who are you people? Like, this bike and this clinic, I don't understand. And so because his feet are just so messed up, he can't actually ride his bike home. Lucas is like, well, I'll give you a ride home. It's fine. And he tells Lucas where he lives, and Lucas is like, that sounds very familiar, but I don't quite know why. Why does that sound familiar? And he starts driving this guy home. And as they enter into this apartment complex, of course, Lucas is getting to know his life, his story. The guy apparently has been married for a year, but he and his wife are separated. They're going through a really hard time. And so he's just feeling really lonely and isolated. And as they enter this apartment complex, he realizes, oh, wait, I know this apartment complex. There's a couple that moved here from California because they sensed the Holy Spirit said to do it. And so Lucas says, well, all right, well, this is going to sound crazy, but I know some people here. And so Lucas takes him to those people's houses. These people are eating dinner. They are making dinner. And they say, oh, come on in. Like, yeah, you don't have any place to eat. You don't have any friends. Come eat with us. And he's like, who are you people? Like, this bike, this clinic, these friends, oh my gosh, what is this? And so needless to say, the email did not get written that day. It's a very Lucas story. Like, you wouldn't believe it if you didn't know Lucas. Like, this is, like, he just disappears, and he's, like, fighting crime. You never know where he is. It's like, where's Lucas right now? He's like, I don't know. Gotham is a better place because of it, though. And so that's how it goes. So the email does not get written, but it gets even more interesting because Lucas goes back to that Starbucks. And as he's at the Starbucks, the lady, the manager who works there, brings him a drink that she remembers him ordering from a previous meeting because he and Sammy Ortiz go there all the time. And he's always talking about the underground with this manager and always introducing the manager to Lucas. And Lucas is wearing his underground shirt. And he says, you know, of all the things that Sammy tells me about the underground, that was the most underground thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, lady, you have no idea. Because while Lucas is in some ways the hero of that story, that is true, you can't help but to factor in the other people that make that story possible. Right? So there's Chris and the team at Well Built who's working not just to meet tangible needs, but restoring the dignity and the image of God to those without choice. There's Rachel in the clinic working to provide significant health care to those in our city who can't afford it. And there's this couple that's combating the real evils of loneliness and isolation with love, hospitality, and a warm meal. There's even Sammy, whose embodied witness has left an imprint on the manager at Starbucks. And to me, this is the underground. Not just a single community, but a network of communities. A city within a city, a subversive enterprise overtaking the entire city, and no one knows just how surrounded they actually are.